we had a fighter in our, we have fighters in our watch party this last night.
Fighters. Actually, that's why I told you guys actually learned that stroke.
Yeah.
Then my
Hello, what's that Hello guy?
Yellow is there. Wedika is there.
Josh.
Is there.
And we had Carol that just
we have GOC.
GOC.
Yeah, like Baba, if I catch you now with T, I learned this.
Any fighter watching this, GOC is different from Toby. When identify our face.
My ground game is another level.
Hello casuals, you're welcome to the Casual Experience Show, and we're here for the review show of the UFC 311 that just wrapped up. It's been a long night, we've had a sleepless night, and I'm here with my consistent MMA enthusiast, GOC.
Yeah, man, feel very sleepy. And actually, must comment what you're wearing. I like what you're wearing.
Yeah,
like the bucket hat with the hoodie, red. Was that deliberate?
The merch is readily available. Casual Experience on your foot door.
I like the fact that the branding was very deliberate.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
So let's go to the fight. The main card performed excellently well.
Yeah.
And who was the main star of the show for you?
Hype. Merab had it for me. Merab just stole everything because the narrative coming into that fight was Merab was scared. I'm looking on hindsight now. I'm seeing that all those restless movements, crying, Umar, you disrespect me.
Yeah.
All those things were a smoked screen.
Yes.
They were just to put the fans on, like, I'm kind of scared about this guy. I was scared.
You mean Merab?
Yeah, it was deliberate.
I feel he needed emotions, that sort of emotion to really show out the way he showed out this time.
I think he knew from the onset that he's going to pressure and nobody has.
He knew that game plan that nobody will be able to keep up
his
to.
Gas tank.
I wasn't caught. But I want to ask you, if that fight was 3 rounds, how do you think it would have played out?
It's going to be a bad night for Merab.
Because arguably, Umar won the first 2 rounds.
2 starts.
And Merab kept smiling all through as if he knew what he was doing. That, okay, don't worry. Are you done? Mm-hmm. Now let's start 3rd round. Let's begin playing.
And his pace, like you could visually see that, very noticeable that it picked up.
Yes,
you understand? Yeah. The first round, he just allowed him to do his thing. He studied. Yes. At that first time, your adrenaline is going up, especially if you're actually rooting for Merab.
Yes.
Then allowed him to do his thing. The kicks were there and everything. At the 3rd round, I was shocked. This guy was gaping and gasping. And Umar, yes, gaping and gasping, and his activity just slowed down tremendously. You could visibly see it.
Yes, that pace is. It was something else.
Now,
and he sets the record for the most takedown.
Yeah, I was about saying that GSP's record 91 right now.
Like doing that with Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, and doing it and showboating.
Yes.
Bro, that was
took him down like I took you down.
Oh yeah, that was the icing kick.
He was telling Umar's corner, showing Khabib that look, I just took him down.
And there was a point where he even dragged him to dinner and I was speaking.
Yes.
In the fight.
Wow.
I don't know how he gets fighters who are elite to that stage where he humbles them.
He's just so sure. He's so sure of his cardio. Yeah, he was saying before that he went to meet him. He went to his house for an interview.
Yeah.
And they told him he was running.
I think I said that in my last interview.
Yes.
Like he's somebody who is so married to the game that he doesn't allow lifestyle or sedentary mundanity to get into this game.
Yes.
He's so married to it. After collecting the belt, you're already building your cardio. But a tweak to that is the cardio you build as a fighter is different from the cardio you build as a normal athlete.
The guy naturally has that inbuilt cardio.
Yeah.
And he's already figured out that this is my main weapon and this is what I'm going to use all through my reign. Anyone that can beat that, you might have the wrestling skills to stuff my takedown.
Yeah.
You might be better than me at wrestling. Yeah. But can you outpace me?
You know, I used to think Kobe Covington has the best cardio. I used to think that, but Merab is another level. You see his recovery per minute, like as you're fighting when you're on the stool.
He wasn't gasping now.
Yeah, okay,
at the end of the fight, he wasn't like he was breathing numbly. He was breathing numbly.
So UFC has a way of calculating that, and they display it on the screen while the fight is going on.
Yes.
Merab's own was out of this world. He's like his heart is not working. He's not beating fast. He's not panting.
He has muscles in the right places.
Oh, I don't know, man.
And then he has the right stature to carry that cardio. Yeah. I mean, if it was muscle mass like Sterling,
Yeah,
or like
Mozambique Sterling.
as tall
Topuria?
as Corey Sandegan.
Yeah.
I feel maybe the distribution of that cardio might not have
So you see,
worked.
God is not partial after all.
In
5'6",
fact,
and actually,
I'm talking about impartiality. You know, when they finished, they were like, one loss on the Abi corner,
Yes.
one win.
Yes.
Because how would they be feeling at their
it
side?
was a balance. So I think Islam walking into that arena was full of rage. Like,
Yes.
I'm going to eat this guy.
Yeah.
Like, how can my cousin or my brother lose in such a fashion?
And he was, but there was a moment where we thought that
Moicano just took us aback. The
was
striking.
when I watched the replay, was that a knockdown?
was
That wasn't
knockdown.
no, that wasn't a knockdown.
Was it trick?
It was a slip. It
Oh,
wasn't
really?
counted. Yeah, it wasn't counted as a knockdown because immediately he hits Islam. He popped up immediately. If it was a knockdown, you would have seen like a microsecond of
Yes, being this
Of shock, yeah.
Yeah, but I think why Islam just retreated to the ground game was that Moicano didn't respect that striking. He came toe to toe was coming. So Islam like, okay, let me
he
show
wanted
this
to
guy
push the
that
pressure.
there are
He wanted
levels
to
to
push
this.
the pace. He wanted to push Islam against the cage because naturally, when you're against the cage or when you are moving backwards, you can't shoot a takedown.
Yeah.
They will tell you if you want to stop a wrestler from taking you down. Just put him on his back foot. He can't shoot.
Yeah.
Moving backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, Islam didn't come to play, man.
What Islam did was, I mean, I doff my heart for him. He shows why he's the number one pound for pound, and finally,
And Dana White
has agreed.
Dana White has agreed that he's number one pound for pound.
Like Islam just leveraged on the moment, boom, grabbed his head, and it does.
And
That
without us being aware,
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing something very brilliant, something very unique in what's going on in the lightweight. He's had the most lightweight defense now.
Yes, 5, yeah.
5.
And he started win streak with Kamaru Usman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are seeing a prime Islam that I feel even looking back at it, if was in the cage,
it would have been a long night.
It would have been a long night for him because this is Islam we are seeing.
But I doubt if Aman would you catch him with that guillotine. Is it guillotine? No, that dash choke.
That dash choke.
Yeah.
You mean
he wouldn't?
That's his go-to finish.
That's Aman. No,
that's Islam.
Right?
His go-to finish.
Yeah,
Dash choke.
You've forgotten that when he was fighting Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Aman Sarukan is so good in chinning down that he doesn't give you opportunity of putting the hands and
bro. If Islam cuts Amen in that dash choke, there's nothing he would have done.
The dash choke.
And Umar was going back to the comment. He was saying he broke his hand in the first round. Do you think that was an excuse?
You see, that's what. How old is Umar? He's a young guy.
Yeah, 28.
Yeah, how old do you think he was?
26.
26. Okay, he's young. He's quite young. So he's passionate, he's enthusiastic, but also he has to understand there's decorum, there's composure, there's honoring. Yeah, people before you. That's why he's talking about disrespect. I'm seeing it. How about the post-fight interview of I must first of all give
credit. Yes,
you don't
like it was obvious you lost, and he was raising his hand. I don't know.
You won.
Yes, he was already raising his hand. Like
then you start giving an excuse that your hands was broken. No, first and foremost, Merab did a very great job. I was underrating and underestimating his power. Shout out to me. That's how you glean from such level of grace and become great. So.
But in that bantamweight division, it still seems like the only one that can still beat.
There is a Corey.
What do you mean, Corey? What did Corey want to do?
Okay, so Corey is not good on the ground. He's not as good as Umar.
Corey that Aljamain Sterling submitted in one round. Okay. I'm not saying Corey is good. Like he's when he's in his flow.
Okay.
His striking is amazing. But like, man.
So I think the question I want to ask is what's next for Merab?
Yes. What's next for Merab?
My friend calls me and says I should mark his words that Merab is going to fight another very big market, which is Sugar Show. I was thinking it's Pantoja, but Pantoja said I'm not going to leave that division. If I leave that division, the flyweight dies, and that's true.
But aside the flyweight dying, there is always the part of legacy being a double champ. The intrigue of being a double champ.
Pantoja can beat
Pantoja will come up. I feel Pantoja will come up to challenge Merab because in that bantamweight division, most of the fighters there are strikers. I mean, the top 15s. The 415. Merab seems to be like Umar seems to be like the only person.
Elite grappler.
Yeah, obviously, if he has 1 or 2 more wins.
Okay.
He might come back to the title fight if Merab, and I feel Merab will still be there waiting for him. And
He's going nowhere.
Habib would have tweaked one or two things and adjusted what needs to be
You know
done.
I was happy. You know, I don't tend to I'm not married to the idea when people feel that shout out to the Nurmagomedov that the Nurmagomedov spell was just broken.
Yes.
Khabib is in your corner, so if Khabib is your corner, automatically you're winning. No,
But overall, they had a good they had 3 fighters. I mean, the Khabib camp.
2 over 3.
They won. Tiger won. Islam won.
2 over 3.
And maybe that's God not being partial.
God not being partial. If you watch Khabib, Umar and Merab again, what do you think Umar should do?
He just has to figure out how to depace, if there is a word like that, to depace Merab. For whatever reason, don't let it. I'm sure that must have been one of their game plans. Do not let it get to the later round, because he eats the guy.
Merab.
His
striking.
He has a dope striking,
very good,
and then he has a kind of weird leg technique where the kick just comes out from nowhere.
Yes.
He has this question mark kicks.
Then he kicks.
And this tip kick that just comes out from nowhere.
For that height and for that division.
That just comes out. He's a very skilled fighter.
See the way he took Merab down.
Now. Even the defense, now.
Like
That he swept him over.
I was so impressed.
And that shows elite wrestling.
Yes. But the only thing I think he needs to do is, it's so obvious that experience plays a nice factor here.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You must tick all the boxes in terms of, you can't skip classes of process. I pick you from less than first 15 and I push you because you can beat a guy who is just a striker. That's what Merab was saying.
Yes.
Merab literally fought his way to the top.
Yeah.
He needs to go fight a Chito Vera. He needs to fight certain people.
But the one, I won't even call him a gatekeeper, but one person that everyone knows that, okay, is like the litmus test to any fighter. No, it's Corey Sandhagen. And Umar forced him conveniently.
Let him go fight Peter. Be interesting fight.
That's true. Peter Yan is waiting at the corner. I feel they might want to give Merab Peter Yan again, because Peter Yan's last fight was
very impressive. But my guy was telling me that he gave him a 45-50.
What's that?
That's the last fight.
You mean Peter Yan?
Yeah, Peter Yan.
He dominated Figueiredo now.
Who is that now?
Figueiredo, it was a sweet striking match.
He did. I'm talking about Merab. Merab actually dominated Peter Yan. So people say they don't want to see it.
There'll be adjustment then. That's a good thing about high level fighters. When you fought someone once, the second time is always, except the higher skilled fighter has something to prove. That's like, that's when you see, like, they always come back to John Jones again.
Exactly.
Gustafsson too. When there's a 2, you see the higher level skilled fighter wanting to prove a point that the first fight wasn't anything. So you can always figure out that Umar will always be back.
Okay.
We would always be back. I'm sure Habib will be telling him to
come back.
Put your heads up.
Let's look at what happened to Kelvin Holland. Why the tap?
Did you see how good that Derrida guy is? It was when we were watching the fight, I was going through that guy's profile. Really? He's been a champion. He's been a champion in one FC,
twice,
two division champion.
I like his charisma, his smile.
As tall as he is, that guy knows how to grapple.
He grapples well.
He knows how to grapple. And you know, Kevin Holland is an aggressive defensive, especially when you put him on the floor. He's an aggressive defensive fighter in the first round. But the guy was just so calm.
Following him, someone who mastered BJJ.
Yes. But for overall, the five fights in the main card, which was your fight of the night?
I was sulky when Jamal Hill lost. But Jamal Hill, Jamal Hill needs to be humble. I mean, even in the press conference, when we were talking about the cancer person that the jury was sympathetic to, Jamal Hill was like, ooh.
Not only in the UFC. I don't even think he's only in the light heavyweight division, but in the UFC as a whole. Yuri is just
very different.
A unicorn. You would never see a fighter like him.
That is a moving target.
Forget his persona, his aura, his looks. And now, looking at what the intent of why he came into the before he came
Yeah,
into the
man.
reason why he did that.
Yeah.
Most people won't even know why his head was shaven.
Shaved, yeah.
He shaved his head in support of a cancer-stricken
Yes.
patient
Yeah.
that came to watch the fight.
And brought her to the ring.
Yes, the girl shaved. Obviously, when you're going through chemo,
Chemotherapy,
your hair is all bald, and that's why. And you know he has this samurai
Yes,
spirit.
with his long
That is
hair.
why he's always keeping his long hair.
Yeah.
He shaved his hair for that reason. That reason, and he also contributed
Yes,
50,000. That's 1 million Czech
Yes, in their own,
crowns
yes.
to the foundation.
And Dana quickly
Dana,
said
yeah,
just, you know,
Dana also.
I think it's gonna be. What do you think about Ankalaev and Pereira?
That's
313.
match.
Who
Well,
wins?
Pereira can never always be written out. I feel Ankalaev would bring out the wrestling that we've always asked for. But before we distract to that,
Yeah, okay.
I want us to still talk about this
card.
Yuri
did,
and
yeah,
Yamahil. Yamahil as a fighter. I don't know. Where do you think he goes from
Let
there?
him go to fight round 3. Let him fight round 3. Let Yuri fight the loser of Pereira and Ankalaev.
Yamahil and Roundtree.
Yeah, interesting fight.
How do you think is that?
The Jamahil that fought today, I won't lie to you. He was he had heart, but
I think the UFC might want to give Yamahil Blaovic, Jan
Or
Blaovic, or Rakic.
Rakic.
Yeah, because he's already losing. Yamahil gradually. He's already losing credibility. Now obviously he's already getting hated,
Yes.
and he seems to take that one on his chest.
because we
Like
thought that he's going to knock out, or that he was making a lot of mouth, that he's going to knock. You know, he's like, that fight with the Pereira was caught. I can do better. You know.
But GOC, there was no. Well, I'm not a fighter, but like the way you look at it, even as a casual, you look when you see a fighter train certain combos continuously, you can always have a tell that his opponent, if he's a very high IQ fighter,
yeah.
is going to pick on this.
Yes.
What did you see, Amayu? I know you were supporting him,
Yeah.
but he was just winging for left. The left,
Yes.
left. And Yuri said he was going to come with his hands up.
But he never did.
But come on, look at the head movement.
Oh, I was wondering.
In the pocket.
Yes, and stood in the pocket and banged with him. It was a banged. Actually, I inflicted more damage on Jamahil.
Yes.
Knocked him down twice. You know, it was a TKO now. Finished
Yes,
him.
so a TKO.
No, Jamahil, man, I don't know what to say though. I don't know what to say.
And for Islam, the main
One of
eventer,
this guy, Jaltin,
Almeida.
I exposed Spivak.
Spivak has always been that fighter that surprises you. He's the one fighter in the light heavyweight that surprises you with an unusual win. And when you give him someone that is in his
Same,
power
yes,
level,
yeah. He doesn't.
it does nothing. It does nothing with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But if they give him just the way these Talbots, do you know that Marcellus had something to prove? Like, come on, look at the horse. What are you guys saying? Where did this guy come from?
Exactly.
That was the reason. I'm sure you know that was the reason the fire was burning that guy, Marcellus,
really?
because he was fighting. He was fighting like a possessed. Like someone possessed, like how dare you guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you see what the odd makers gave him?
I'm telling you.
They gave Talbot, I don't know the interpretation of this, but 1.07 odd.
Aye,
That means
that's very high now.
that means for if you had put 1,000 naira on or 100 naira on Talbot
Yes,
to win.
yes.
If you had put 100 naira on Talbot to win, you would have won 7 naira. That's 107
Yes,
naira.
okay.
Now, if you had put the same 100 naira on Barcelos to win, you would have won 1,700. 17 odd.
Wow, that's what that means.
That was disrespectful.
Very disrespectful.
The first question Joe Rogan asked him when he interviewed him that did you feel disrespected? And
Yes.
in fact, he didn't want his interpreter to interpret first. He was like yes,
Exactly.
yes. How dare they? Like,
yes.
where did this young
For a
boy
hype,
come
just
from?
feel yes. The hype was
With all
real
my
with the guy
experience and
26,
everything,
yeah.
like
11-year-old different age difference. You know, dominated him on the feet, on the ground. You know,
But that doesn't take anything from Talbot. He's a very bright prospect.
that's bantamweight, right?
Yes,
Should he
he's
fight
a-
next?
Well, the UFC brass will always give him something good because they know how good he is.
Yes, good
his fight against the South African Salman, that was a fight for me that opened my eyes towards that guy. That this guy is good.
The South African is good.
And he didn't. Credit to him in the fight. He didn't give up. He didn't give up on himself.
Yeah.
Other fighters,
yes,
those kind of fights,
Barcelona
like you would, the young fighters would be like they would just be. And the one thing I like about him is he's coachable.
Okay.
In his corner, when he went back to his corner,
second round did better.
His coach were giving him instruction and he was asking the right question. They were like, don't bite on it. Like, what should I do? He was asking the right questions, and that shows.
He's a teachable person.
And he can just only learn from it.
Obviously about okay, we've talked about Speaker. Which other card talked about?
Kevin Nolan, the Raider. That was a fights on the
card. Heading Jonathan Hamid calling out Cyril Gad. Why not Volkov? Cyril Gad is wounded.
He even said if they give him Aspinall, he's ready.
That's
I don't think he's ready for. I don't think he's ready for. He's ready for Aspinall.
No, Aspinall is bigger. He's not even
anyway.
Natural,
He has a good career in modeling if he chooses to.
Yeah,
he has one of the best
bodies in heavyweight.
He has one of the best bodies in heavyweight and UFC as a whole. Like
Islam, what's next for Islam?
Do you think? Obviously, you won't want to fight Belal. He said itself that Belal is.
I think after Merab's performance, the narrative of Georgians fighting Russians will make sense. So he shouldn't look down on Ilia Topuria.
Well, you mean if Ilia comes up to Islam?
Yes.
It's the same excuse. If Islam beats him now, is what we'll keep saying. He keeps fighting smaller fighters. Look. And that's what Islam is trying to avoid by when Joe Rogan interviewed him by saying, look, if you feel you can make 155, just come into this ring and come and meet me. Anybody. Because now his legacy, naysayers might be tainting his legacies by saying he's fought smaller guys. He's fought people that are not. Now he was hoping to fight someone that is up. He feel that everyone feels he's up to his level, and he was nowhere to be found.
They brought him in Moicano and he does immediately. Wow.
But
Merab, what's next on Merab?
Merab, the sky is just his stats.
Sugar Show.
He will beat Sugar Show now, bro.
He's beating everybody.
He's going to beat Sugar Show. The only person I still feel can be a challenge to him is Umar. Umar needs at least one or two more wins. But for now, giving him a Peter Yan is not going to be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Peter Yan seems to be back with a newfound purpose.
Yeah. Good grappling. See what he did to
yes. And now he doesn't just fight for fighting sake. He's listening.
Yeah.
He's listening to the timer. He's listening to his corners. He's listening. I mean, you can't use the excuse of you don't understand what the referee was saying to go and to need someone that is a grounded opponent.
That's true.
That's telling. So
he now has knowledge about the UFC and stuff.
And Aljamain has moved up, right?
Yeah, he has. But if I'm Aljo, I'll call it a day. How do you see it?
Retire.
Yeah.
Now you want to feed him.
Now you
want to feed him if you retire.
He can move to lightweight now. How about that? So that his guy can flourish in that division.
No, he's moved up already now.
Lightweight. No.
He's not. No, I mean he's no longer. He's not fighting in bantam.
Let him. He's in featherweight. Let him move up to lightweight because Merab has to go to featherweight.
So, and guys. We're not going to be having fight night next week. The fight we're having is our own
at Saudi.
Arabia. That's February 1st. Israel will be fighting Imavov, and on that card is going to just be a striking fest. There are a lot of strikers. Bullet is fighting. Yeah. Page is fighting.
Pavlovich is fighting.
Yes. So it's just going to be a striking fest. And guys, it's our Nigerian guy that is fighting, and there's always also going to be a watch party for it, even though it's a fight night. And the good thing about it, guys, now is that it's going to be held midday because of the Saudi time.
Yeah.
The fight is going to be at noon. We'll be starting by 2 p.m. and by 8, 9 in the evening, we've rounded up. So it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a loving time, and it's going to be an amazing time for Nigerian fight lovers,
lovers.
and MMA lovers. And we had a fighter in our, we have fighters in our watch party this last
we have a lot
night.
of fighters. Actually, that's why I told you guys actually learned that stroke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then my
We Hello, what's that Hello guy?
Yellow is there. Edika is there. Josh is there.
And we had Caro that just
we have GOC.
GOC.
Yeah, like, but if I catch you now with I learned this.
Any fighter watching this, GOC is different from Toby. Identify her face. It's GOC that keeps making mouths to fighters.
My ground game is another level. I'm serious.
And guys, on this note, we call it a wrap. GOC.
If you don't like fights, if you don't watch fights, sorry.
My own.